Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker for tonight's session, Dexter Chu. As the Chief Operations Officer at Q1 Tech, a software development agency, Dexter helps market research companies get a better understanding of their customers through surveys, leading to the development of technology that creates brands, products, and experiences that people love. On top of running Q1 Tech, Dexter also takes on the role of Chief Revenue Officer at MR Tech Ops, a market research operations service agency. This allows Dexter to continue to deepen his understanding of the industry and find solutions for clients. When he's not busy with work, Dexter loves to pick up his camera and snap away. He is the owner of Dexter Chu Photography, where he specializes in capturing the emotion and beauty of weddings and lifestyle photography. Overall, Dexter is dedicated to using his expertise in technology and market research to help people build a better business, a team, or a service. And we're extremely lucky to have him as the facilitator for today's session. Dexter, thank you for being here with us today, and I welcome you to begin the session.
Thanks, Elena. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, thanks everybody joining us tonight. If you don't mind, anybody that's comfortable, I love to see your faces for just a brief moment, and then you guys can just hide behind the the camera and stuff like that. But today is it's going to be fun. I like to think of it as an interactive session. So I'm going to be utilizing some of the chat today with us just to get some things going and to learn more about you. And then we go from there. So hopefully at the end of the day, we'll just, I get to know you a little bit more than, at 6:09 today. Okay. Thank you very much for those, turning on your camera. Thank you very much. So why don't we just start with a couple of things? I'm just going to get you over to the chat. Okay. So type in something there. And like I said, even in between the chats, if you have any questions, just put it in there for now. Alina, if you can, maybe just help me just collect some of those questions, because we're going to have a slew of chats just going through this evening. And once it's there, at the end we'll have a Q&A session. You could just maybe just help me recap some of those questions. Okay, sounds good. Great. Why don't we just do a few things? Let's try this. I'm going to have you type in your business idea in this chat. Now, if you have whatever that is, if it's an idea, if it's a business, please type it in one word. Tell me what that is. I'll give you a moment. Can't wait to see what's in it. Do you guys see the chat? So chat's in the bottom. There we go. Drop shipping. Nice. Farnaz.
Open up the chat.
Yeah.
Turn on your view.
Oh, I got the chat open.
Hit the chat.
I have.
No, you haven't opened it. Okay.
Legal Education Hub.
See where it says 2? I'm not sure what he's doing.
Access to developing markets. Very cool, Evelyn.
Penny, if you're having a hard time writing in the chat, you can just unmute and tell us your idea. That's fine.
Yeah, you can just say it. Again, interactive. What is RTD? Matthew, where are you at? What is RTD?
Oh, man, you're unmuted.
Okay.
Where's Matthew? Matthew? Where's
No.
RTD? No? Okay. Oh, ready to drink. There we go. Thank you. Low alcoholic beverages, matching space operator to end user. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Insurance broker. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay. So quickly, I'm going to do another one. I am going to have you type in if you're either in an ideation stage or you already started your business. Which one is it? Farnaz website that tell people problems and people respond to solutions. Well, essentially just a lot of market research stuff.
You have to have
That's amazing. Ideation. Okay, cool. Anyone has a business yet? Anyone still in the idea stage? Just type it in. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you. Thank you. Thanks, Nikki. The spin-off from co-working space. That's very cool. Passes, iteration, amazing. Ideation. Very cool. Self-employed now, going to register a company. Now, congrats. That's the first step. Really crossing the line there. Proven prototype. That's very cool. Now, the reason why I'm gonna this exercise, I'm gonna recap at the end while we're doing all this stuff. Okay, fantastic. Past ideation, amazing. Nice one, Penny. Hopefully this will give you a little bit more insight, you know, for your next stage and stuff like that. Okay. Node share. The web application, look at this. It's already fine-tuned the pitch. I love it. Second. Okay. I'm going to leave this for now. You can just come back to it, and then I'm just going to go through it. You can type it. Tell me one thing that you expect to learn or solve today, right? During this thing. You may not know market research. You may not, you know, and again, this is very interesting stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys a little bit more, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. Where are we at? Okay. Did I just lose my screen? I did. 1 sec. Where did it go? There we go. Can you see my screen? Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So market research 101 analysis workshop. Okay. What do you want to solve today? Okay. Really, it's just, you know, we're here to take a look at a few things, right? How to validate customer needs. Maybe just unmute for a moment. I'd love to hear from you guys. You know, what do you want to learn? What do you want to solve today? You know, what do you think? You know, so maybe just shout out, you know, some things. And again, this is, again, everything related to market research. Trust me, trust the process. Anybody? Market research methods that are both effective and widely used. Very wide, sure, why not? I'm not from business, I really have no idea. Yeah, no, thank you very much for, you know, Tamo. Again, who knows, right? Again, you know, market research could be very daunting. You know, if you don't know, you don't know, and hopefully you can take something out of, you know, away from you, you know, this evening. All right. Thanks for everybody who has captured this, because this information is going to wrap up at the end, like I said.
Okay, hello.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Penny.
it's Penny. This is Penny. And I've been having a lot of lessons for the last year.
Yeah.
And so many directions that I am in a situation right now where I will be starting tomorrow on a Ontario Creates application. And I have a lot of decisions to make. It's going to be very complex because this is the third time I have started my business. I had it starting in 1985, and it was funded by the Ontario Ministry of Education, and it ended up sending the first language teaching software to all of the schools in Ontario that had no schools with ESL or English communities with any computers to work on or any software to work on. And then once I got that launched and whatever, Ontario Creates wasn't there then, but IBM was. And they took 2 years license from me to sell the software across Canada. And it got into Vancouver, or I guess British Columbia, Alberta, and especially Quebec, because I had a French version too, English and French. Okay, so now I've gotten pretty old and I'm barging in right now and I'm trying to learn this new technology. And I have never I've had 3 courses now in entrepreneurism and so on. But I'm trying to learn from you guys, but I can't necessarily participate fast enough when I'm in a different environment and trying to catch up to you. So I just want you to know that I have a really good piece of software, and it's been tested by the government, and
Mhm.
it's been not just back in 1985, but also this past November. But and I'm getting old, and I'm going to be showing it to the Ontario Creates in the month of February, and we're going to try to go ahead with it. But I am dying to learn what you other people take for granted almost, and are able to move ahead and so quickly. And if I interrupt, it's because I just all of a sudden realize something, but I'm very glad to work with you and learn anything you can tell me. And anybody can
Thank you.
email me anytime, please.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you for the insight and background. And if you're going to the Ontario Create, probably gonna, hopefully there's some good nuggets here that I'm gonna be able to share with you, and some tools to everybody, and including you, Penny. You can take away to prepare yourself, for the demo, for the presentation, and everything else, because all these forums that you're going to go into, all these different stages of your businesses, from idea to an exit. You need to continuously to do market research, just so that you have data to be able to share with people, for your team as you're growing, to yourself, or even to friends. Okay. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to go through. So Penny, I'm going to have you mute your speaker for now, and then we can turn it back on. So today, what we're going to do is, we're going to go through what is market research, and why is market research important, for a new startup and small business, and the type of market research. I am only going to focus today on ideation and startups, market research space. I am going to give you tools. I'm not going to give you a silver bullet. I'm not going to be able to tell you, you do this, you're going to get, you get an X, Y, Z. This is not how it's going to work. Market research is all around us, from big to small. I work with market research agencies to, client end clients and everything else to, big brands. And market research is a huge market. It's a $78 billion, yearly business. And every company, big or small, continuously to do, research, just so that they can provide, goods and services and everything else, and even marketing messages, what we see today, what we live, and so on, and in the future and stuff like that. And I specifically work with a lot of healthcare stuff, and which is why, just to really better ourselves, for our health in the future, for patients, physicians, and, caregivers and stuff. Next, we're going to take a look at defining a target market. I think, most of you are really excited. It's like, oh my God, I need to get to so-and-so, and I need to tell them my story and get them to pay me and repeat customer and over again. And that's what we're here for, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at conducting primary research. I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks, what to ask, how to ask, and hopefully it'll make sense to you. And then at the end, analyzing and using the research data, and what do we do with, once we have all this information? What do we do once we have all this information? We are going to be basically just going to go there, and hopefully we can conclude the session with what to do next, just so that you can continue to rinse and repeat market research, what you've learned today, and then dive into more market research as you go through the different stages of starting a business. Okay, fantastic. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just going to do one thing here. I do have a few things. Oops. Okay, we're back. All right, so what are we looking at? What is market research? So market research is very essential. It's an essential tool for business organization and individuals to gather, analyze information about the target market, the industry, and for and their competitors, right? So what's important is this workshop is really to provide you with a comprehensive introduction information about market research, including all the different types of research methods, when to use it, how to use it, and how to execute a research project, and then to analyze the information, and then just put it the way that, based on what your business, your stage, and everything else there, okay? If you have any questions, just keep plugging into the chat, and then we can consolidate. If not, you can ask me at the end of the session, okay? So now that we know the what, let's get into the why, right? Before I actually get there, let's just go through a couple of things. If you can type in the chats, okay? Type in the chat based on what you know, just one word or whatever. What is the top causes for a business to fail? Based on what you know, what you hear. Just type it in. I love to hear from you. And again, I'm going to consolidate some of this information at the end. You can type away. Let me know why. Tell me one thing that, why does a business fail? Okay. Lack of consistency, lack of funding, cash flow, Julia, what is that? DISP? Disorganization. Oh, thank you. Type too fast. Okay. Didn't put enough time. Timing. Yeah. Okay. Bad customer service. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Hopefully I can maybe just summarize. Lack of demand. Okay. Thank you very much for this. And you can continue to input. Okay. You can continue to input. And I tell you why I'm also doing this. So I'm going to show you a couple of things, right? So you guys are bang on. Okay. You guys are bang on. And doing market research, I'm going to tell you the top 10 causes, based on the research in 2019, from the small business trend is, the number one up there is, no need market. You're selling this to the wrong one, or your idea just, is just not there, right? You think too big or whatnot. You ran out of cash. You don't have the right team. You got to outcompete, pricing and cost issue, not a user-friendly, user experience, product, product without a business model. Right? You're not clear on how to run it. You may have a good idea, but you just need a team or somebody else to actually execute and implement and really to sell it. Poor marketing, that is 100%, because you may have the best product out there, but if you're not telling the right story to the right people, to your target market, no one cares. No one really cares. Ignoring customer service, product miss time and stuff like that. So hopefully that, okay. Really, it's just, and this is really the why. It's very important. By doing what we're going to do, which is the next slide, is I'm hoping that doing research, really just getting the voice of your customers, the true people that are going to pay you over and over and over again, not your family, not your friends, but the people that, consumers that are actually going to buy your goods and service will come back over and over again. Let's shorten these, these causes, these errors, these margins and stuff like that, and get there as soon as possible, just so that you can get off the ground quickly and continuously to refine, and just so that you can, add things and remove things during your, right, startup life cycle. So conducting market research really narrow down the problem to solve and help you focus on finding the right people who have that problem, right? If you do market research, you will be able to identify these 10 things, okay? And a lot more. You can identify customer needs. You can evaluate the market potential, how big it is or how small. And really it's just like, if it's too small, maybe it's not a good business idea, right? Understanding the competitive landscape. I don't want you to always think about, hey, I'm going to go after Pepsi. I'm going to go after Coke. I'm going to go after, Sephora, or like, Nike and stuff like that. No, really it's just really understanding different things such as, what sets you apart. Go after the other market that, these are the people, your, addressable, your total addressable market and stuff like that. You can identify, industry trend, make informed decision, really is just, even if you're developing software for me, like me, I want to make sure that, when I hire a developer, what do I hire and what to develop, and develop things that I can sell, and not developing something that, hoping someone is going to use, right? And all these things. When you do a research and you identify all these things, these 3 things here, at the end of this session, this workshop, I'm going to actually help you to put all this information into a chart of to addressing your target market. Really the personas, the psychographics and everything else at a startup stage, okay, at a startup stage, just so that you can, find out who they are, where they live, where they, live every day, right? Through any social media platform or whatnot medium, just so that you can reach them and tell them your story and for them to come to you and buy something from you over and over again, okay? And then you can basically build a business canvas model. If you've never done a business model, I encourage you to do it at some stage when you're starting a business. It's very important for you to realize what the business looks like, who's your customers, market, pricing and all that stuff into one single page. If you can do everything into one single page, when you're going up for getting grants, when you're telling people, when you're refining a pitch, and when you're building a team, you can just share that one business model canvas, that one sheet, which I'm going to show you later. And you can align the team, you can align strategic goal, what the mission and strategic, and development, and really get there fast and make sure that everyone is aligned, okay? And then additionally, really, it's just you can create a customer persona, depending on what you do, right? Customer persona sometimes is good, sometimes it's not, but at least if somebody asks, who's your customer? Can you just paint a picture exactly, if you need to draw it out, what does that look like? And, hopefully we can actually just get you there, okay? So let's just take a look at the next slide here. Market research, there really is two things here. There's qualitative, there's quantitative, okay? And then I'm going to tell you what that looks like. There is primary research and secondary research. I'm not going to get into too technical because you guys are just at early stages. We are only going to focus on primary research, which we are going to talk about today. Quantitative essentially is doing an online survey, doing the masses, really validating an idea in bigger scope, just to narrow down, information. You could do it by way of survey, okay? You can just, that's quantitative, right? Really just going out to a big sample size of people, asking them a bunch of questions about your idea, your service, your product, and so forth, or pricing or whatnot, and making sure that, what you think, are there people that align with it, understand, what your concept is, or whatever you're trying to research or validate, okay? Once you refine that, then you go over to qualitative research, which is now, once you have, let's just say, usually people do a sample size of 150 to 500 to 1,000 people, depending on your budget, where you have, on communities and stuff like that. And if you have that reach, finding a whole bunch of people, hey, you know what, I have an idea. Can you just basically just complete the survey and help me just making sure that, what I think, do you see it that way? And then just get me there. You can pick and choose out of that online sample survey, right? And then filter down to a smaller sample that people is like, oh my God, I think these people exactly knows and exactly wants or have a desire to want your service and goods or your solution. When you get that smaller sample, then you want to bring them in, right? To do, focus groups, ethnography and stuff like that, depending on what you do. But in your stage, you could do a focus group, which is a one-to-one or one-to-many, just like this, what we're doing here, okay? And really just now, the people that you're talking to at this focus group are the people that believe in it and have a really good match. And then you can really now ask them deeper questions to validate and really refine, everything, their challenges and pain points and stuff like that. And then over time, once you have, validated, then you are, once you have sold a service or goods, those are called customers. Then you should have a one-to-one conversation with your customer. Why did they buy it? How did they buy it? When did they buy it? What prompted them to buy it? And will they buy it again? And, really just validating and testing out everything from how can I get to more of you? How can I sell you at what price point? Can I up it? Will you pay for it or not? So you got to have lots of those, okay? So I'll give you an example, right? I think, do I have an example? Okay, I do have an example. Let me just switch gear for a moment, okay? So let's see. I'll give you an example. Let me just stop share for a second. I'm going to see your faces. If I see faces, it's not anyhow. Right in the bottom of the screen here, there's a button called on Zoom. It's called reaction. Okay. You can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, when I ask you. Okay. This is what a survey could look like, right? And to validate something, or to get to a smaller group of people that I can do focus group. Let's just say I am doing something like I'm selling a personal training online service. I want to start a business, okay? I'm going to ask everybody, okay? I'm going to ask everybody, just show me a thumbs up, okay? When you leave a thumbs up, just leave it on. And then if it doesn't apply to you, just remove the thumbs, okay? I'm going to ask everybody, who here wants to be healthy? Give me a thumbs up. Again, this is just quantitative research. Who wants to be fantastic? Okay, I'm going to ask you another question here. Who here has who here goes to who here works out 1 to 3 times a month? Okay, I have less. Who here has a paid membership to a gym, or has paid in the last 6 months an online health, like a fitness class? Okay, you see, now I'm doing quantitative. Okay, now once you see what I'm trying to get at, right? There is what I'm going to call is basically now I have information about people. There's something called total addressable market, which is, hey, you know what? Everybody wants to be healthy. We can't sell them. We can't. Those are potentially my market one day. And then people that actually exercise is one. That's another serviceable market. But the people that potentially I can sell my service to today or tomorrow are the ones that have paid online courses and have a gym membership, because those are what are actual people. Now I'm going to go after them to do a focus group, right? To do research about, hey, when did you buy? What would you buy? You know what? If I have a service like this, would you consider why and why not? Okay. Thanks for that. Just give me a second. Let me just go back to my, and let's see here. Okay. So quantitative, qualitative, again, online surveys to the masses, focus group a little bit more, voice of your customer, literally this is a one-on-one survey, market research. Now, you're probably asking me, when do I use it? How do I use it? Okay, so that's the next screen. Okay, the research objectives, right? You've got to have the objectives, and then you've got to have the methods. So to understand the needs and wants, of the target market, you could do a survey, you could do focus groups, you could do interviews, you could do research. Okay, ethnographic research essentially is, this is for a once it's a more established brand or customers, where ethno essentially is, how does this person, let's just say I'm selling a vacuum cleaner. Okay, I want to basically, I'm building a vacuum cleaner but I want to see what are some of the challenges that the person is using. Doesn't matter what they're using. They use a Shark or a Dyson or whatnot. I want them to basically have a camera in-house, or have somebody just sitting there and basically say, great, now start. Go get your, how do you pick up your vacuum? Do you need to charge? Where's the charger? And how do you, vacuum? And then what challenges do you have? What, places that you can't get to? And really, those are more of an ethnographic, research. Really, just staying with it in the moment, just to go through that, just so that you can actually learn about the challenges, pain points, and set your product apart from the ones that they're using. Okay, and that's what ethno is. So to determine the ideal customer personas, survey, interviews, demographic analysis, and stuff like that, and the list goes on. Okay, I'm going to have you take a moment to take a look at it. Identify potential barriers to entry market for you. That's that. You know, the pricing is a big one, right? When you're starting out, it's like, hey, finger up in the air. This is what I charge. And I can tell you, in the beginning, when I started my photography business 9 years ago, I really didn't know how to charge. I basically was just charging as if I'm a weekend warrior. Essentially, I'm just shooting on for fun. I didn't account for licenses, legal fees, registration for the business, taxes, and all the licenses software that I have, literally the operating expenses. So literally at the end of the year or at the end of the month, after I did any businesses or I charge people, I was actually making $10, but sometimes I actually not making any money, right? So pricing is going out is very important for some of you, okay? And then just getting feedback and stuff like that. Again, you know, there's a lot of different things. When you see market reports, competitive analysis, interview, and industry experts, these are called secondary research, where secondary research are information or research that have previously done that people put up the data that's available on the internet. You can grab these data that's most of the time is free, some you have to pay, but you're not there yet. Don't worry about it. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about the research objectives and the methods? Okay. Let's just go through next. Now, the most important thing, I think some of you actually said here, I think one or two people actually say, hey, you know what? Defining your target market. Who are the people that I can actually just go after, right? I'm going to show you a couple of things. Now, if I say, you know what, who wants to be healthy? That's your total available market. Everybody wants to be healthy, right? Can I sell it to everybody? No, you can't, right? Because you're not there yet. Because, you know, not everybody wants that service or that price point or exactly that, you know. Anybody that who said, hey, yeah, I have a gym membership. I've, you know, I paid for an online, you know, a fitness class before. Those are the people that can actually serve and reach. But again, you're not there yet. You know, you want to start, you want to basically just find out your true clients who have paid and will pay tomorrow, okay? The people that says, if you do a research today and say, hey, would you buy this kombucha, drink that I'm making? You know, everybody is like, yeah, sure, why not? It's like, you know, would you pay $5? Yeah, sure, why not? But if I'm actually going to say, great, if you say yes, I have a case of 12 kombucha can here. Will you give me money for $5 a can for a dozen right now? And that's the true test. That is the research, right? Not to say, yeah, I would do it. Anybody can say what they want, right? But the actual fact that, you know, when they actually will pay for your service and goods, you need to refine that and find out that that's called the target market, okay? At an early stage of any idea, you should really quickly identify your true target market. Don't worry about the serviceable. This one, don't even think about it. Those are your competitors, okay? But, you know, when you're getting big enough, you can get there. And it takes a few years and iteration to get there, okay? My rule of thumb, for based on what I've done previously, the two, B2B company that I have, as well as the consumer, which is a photography business. I think B2B, for business to business, solutions, I think your first 5 paid customers that actually hand you a check that stays with you at least for a year or so, those are the ones that are very crucial, because they're the ones that truly you have to do a lot of research with these 5 people, these 5 clients, okay? Could be a solopreneur, could be an enterprise or whatever that is, because then you're going to actually validate the product that you sell them. Is it seamless? Or do you have a lot of problems, or you have to have a lot of support? Or do you have to, do all the different things? Or what you sold is not what they're expected, right? The ones that stays with you, learn about, doing research and collect this information over time to figure out the good and the bad. The bad is actually saying, you know what, is it a process that I can refine? Is it a product development, or is this education, right? And these 3 things, you should put them in the bucket. So your first 5 customers is truly going to refine your business and take you to the next level, because they're the ones that basically tell you 5 different types of clients. Take a look at the persona, take a look at their buying behavior, take a look at their usage and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then they're going to come to you. Okay. For B2C, I think your first 50 customers truly will give you a lot of insights. Make them your ambassador, learn about them, and continuously to use those research tools that we're going to be learning today and capture their feedback over and over and over and over again. So really, really interesting things. Hopefully that, it's kind of, go from there. And that's what the target market is very important. You need to find who they are at an early stage. And how do we find that? You'll probably ask, okay, how do we find it? Okay. I think, before you do any research, which before we get into some exercise today, I want to make sure that you are clear about your research objectives. What is it that I want to find? I want to do research about, target market, pricing, idea validation, product validation, my strategy. If you already have an ideation, stage, and you have a minimum viable product, now it's just messaging, right? It's my messaging. How do I tell a story just so that people can relate? It's like, yep, that is exactly what I want. Because messaging is very crucial. Because if you have a product and if you're telling the wrong story, like somebody of you said, why did it fail? Because you're actually, telling the wrong story to the wrong target market and they don't relate to you. Okay, right? And these are very important. Research objective, keep it simple, right? KISS, keep it simple and say one thing at a time. What do I want to validate? What do I want to research? And we're going to go from there. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to do something for me as a group in a moment. So remember research objective. And then, like I said, why are you asking for it? Because you can figure out things such as, what do I want to find out? Did I know this before, or I just need to know, I just need to know because I have no clue. Second thing is, I think I have an idea, but I want a confirmation that my thinking about the pricing or where to market or how do I price, does that coincide with what I think? And you need to validate that, because again, going out with the wrong information at the right time, over or whatnot, will fail. Okay, so you need to do the first two things are very clear internally to take you to the next steps to shorten up the failing cycle. Once you have this information, what are you going to do with it? And which is why, like I said, put that into a chart, a table of your target market, right? Have all this information and put it into a, like a customer persona, and put it into a business model canvas, okay? And we're going to show you what that looks like. Because once you have this, again, once you have the information, you will be very clear on your next steps, what you need to do, what you don't need to do. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So next is, I'm going to give you a little bit more, how do I get to finding my target market, okay? So to get to your target market, I have given you some exercise and some clear tools and how to get there. So you need to define a problem. You need to develop a customer profile. You need to basically find out what the pain point is, just so that you can address it really quickly. If somebody comes to you, let's just say if it's a piece of software, why do I need your software? Tell me about it. It's like, well, why don't you tell me? Why did you come to me? Where did you find me? And what message information that, drive you to have this conversation with me? Once you define that, it's like, okay, cool. They are almost like a serviceable target, okay? Now, I want to make sure that you are my target market. You need to ask them about their pain points. What are you using right now? And what is not working for you? And what is working, what is doing really well for you? And they're going to tell you something there that is so crucial. Then you can actually say, fantastic. Your pain point here that you cannot achieve with the solution that you're using currently, I actually have a solution for you. Bing. So you see, the magic happens right there. Then you say, great, fantastic, show me how it works. then you can actually just go from there. You need to view competitors. You need to view competitors for a few reasons, right? To understand a competitor is really to identify the gaps. You either want to go after the same clients if your product or your service is as good as the other guy. If, like I said, going back to kombucha, I'm building a kombucha. It's like, why would, I'm developing a kombucha drink. And why would somebody want to, why would somebody want to buy you? And why did somebody buy the other brand? Are you going after the same, or is the product exactly the same but in different packaging? Or is it where it's made, right? So you need to understand, define your objectives. Am I going exactly the same as the one next to the shelf? Or my kombucha has this one. It has something totally different from the ones on the shelf. Then you're going to need to find out who the competitors are, how they're messaging it, and then message something that is, define your marketing strategy, that's something that they did not address. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. And then really it's just, next one is channel your customer users. This is very important. This is very important. Where do they live, okay? So I'm gonna have you type in here in the chat, if everybody can go to your chat again. Tell me what is your most favorite social media platform that you use every single day. And if you're on iPhone or on your Android, it probably gives you a stat which app you use the most. I do TikTok. I do TikTok for self-help, for businesses, for recipes, etc. Okay, tell me more. Twitter, Insta, LinkedIn, Spotify, IG. Well, hard to get to you, Nikki, and Spotify, but we'll try. Maybe if you're selling music, you get TikTok, IG. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, so here again are some tools on how to get to these objectives, and then the definition of how to get there, right? Hopefully we'll get there. Okay, I'm gonna have you soak in this information here for a moment, because in a couple of slides I'm going to tell you more. Okay. Great. So now this is really defining the objectives, why you need it, what are you going to do with it. You're probably going to ask me and say, hey Dax, I don't even know where to start. Okay, it's okay, I'm going to show you. Again, you need to think about what method of research you're going to use. Is it quantitative, which is online survey, or qualitative, which is a lot more on a focus group, conversation, a little bit more one-on-one, one to few. It's not one to many. It's one. You need to define that. So to build your customer persona, you need to know their geographic information, demographic, and persona. Really, you need to know who's buying it, what are the challenges, where they're using it, where do they live, if they watch a lot of TV, which social media, current behavior and stuff like that. And here are some questions I actually can start you off to help you to ask. Hopefully this will ask the right thing. Now, a lot of people that have never done surveys before, they'll probably ask the same thing. Like I said, hey, would you do you use a pen? Everybody, sure. Would you buy a pen? Sure. And would you buy this pen? They will look at it. Sure. It doesn't, do you, if you're selling like a fountain pen or whatever, you call it, interesting pen, that doesn't really work, right? I'm going to give you a different perspective of how to ask a question to get to a little bit more concrete, defined answer or a data that you can work with. Instead of asking, hey, do you, would you buy a gym membership? Sure, why not? Instead of asking that, I think of it this way. When was the last time you purchased a gym membership? They would tell you, hey, I bought it recently, or I've been using it for the last 3 years, or I've been, going, having gym membership for the last, 12 months, So then you can refine, hey, you know what? Is it a person that really just started with the gym membership, or somebody that, has been, having 5 years, or somebody has, to 10 years? Because The 1 year, then maybe you can, have a little bit more conversation and convert them. Even for the 3 to 5 years, gym membership, you can convert if your gym, if your equipment has a little bit different from, let's just say, Good Life or whatnot. The lifelong that's been there for 20 years, maybe the ones that so have loyalty, brand loyalty, those are really hard to convert. Same thing with kombucha and stuff like that, okay? So to define customer personas, these are some objectives, and these are some questions you can ask. The way you ask it will give you a little bit more insight, okay? Next, discussion type. This is more of a one-to-one and one-to-many. Once you have find the few people that are really good match for your target market, okay? Your target, not your serviceable, not your TAM, total addressable market. You need to sit down with them and say, hey, you know what? I'll say, Alina, tell me something here, man. Tell me your background. Tell me a little bit about your situation. Tell me about your household, whatever that product and service is. If it's a business, tell me your company size. Tell me what you do, and tell me about the software that you use and stuff like that, right? And then give me an example of leading questions. Who makes a decision for buying these things? If it's a consumer product, is it who buys it? Is it your partner? Is it you? Is it you live alone? And when does it trigger you to buy certain things? These are questions that if you ask it the right way, it will provide you with a very clear answers, just so that it's not fluff that you can't work with. Okay. So you have warm-up questions, your example questions, your direct questions, where do you go buy this, and so forth. And then indirect questions. Okay. Now, once you have all this information, if you have done your quantitative and qualitative research, you should be able to now put into a target market characteristic. You should be able to say your demographic of your ideal customer should be within the age, the gender, the income, the education level. And I'll tell you why this is important, right? This part here is, if you're going to, I think you might be learning marketing in one of the workshops later. The marketing workshop, the individual, the facilitator is probably going to work with you and say, hey, you know what, if you are going to spend ads to target to people to want to buy you, or create an awareness, or create a brand awareness marketing, brand marketing, you need to basically sometimes pay for sponsor ads on TikTok, on Instagrams, on LinkedIn or whatnot. I do that. And then you can actually target these right people, because these platforms can make a selection of people and gender, age, income, lifestyles, value, demographic, where they are, and then drive them to, if it's an online business, fantastic. It could be anywhere. It could be global. But if it's a local, brick and mortar, then you basically just want to see the surrounding of it. You want to see when the buying habits and usage and brand loyalty and stuff like that. Let's say going back to kombucha drink, you want to find out these, the target market, or your customers, right? Your perfect customers. When did they buy it? Where did they go buy it? What, how often do they purchase, and what do they purchase at what price, and which brand? And then when you can find out that, then you can actually just go into things such as how often, and what actually triggers them to go buy it. Is it health reason or whatnot? If you are doing something, let's just say I'm doing a tutoring, service. You need to find out, hey, you know what? There's so many. There's Kumons, there's Mathletes or whatever, and all these different agencies. Why choose that? Why did they choose one over the other? Is it the cost? Is it the branding? Is it by referrals? Is it the curriculum? You need to define that, and you can now, based on your product, you can carve out, do I want to, is my product differentiation? Is it a niche, and so forth? Okay. Pain points. Very important, okay? I do this on a monthly and quarterly basis with all my clients. The reason why I do pain points and problem and challenges in the prospecting, I'll start there. For brand new clients prospecting, I listen, I talk to them. Why do how can I help? What's problem now? What are you looking for? Why did you come here? What is not working? Tell me. And they are going to tell you not that they want a solution, but they'll tell you, this is the problem I'm having right now. And I want you to document or record that conversation. I want you to take exactly the word by word and document that and write it down, the problem and challenges your target market is facing. I do this all the time. And then same thing, once you have that now, if you have found a good match of the person who's going to buy your service or your goods, you can use exact terminology or phrase or grammar or the actual nuances of that keyword and use it on your marketing campaign. Your client doesn't care about what you say and how you say it and stuff like that, but they only care about what their feelings and what their pain points and how they actually see it. Just like testimonials and stuff like that, right? I'll give you an example of testimonials. Doesn't matter what doesn't matter what, if you're selling a car, I don't care if you have wheels, if you have four tires, if you have heated seats and that stuff like that. Sometimes it's not there. I just want a red car. I'm going through midlife crisis. I just want a car that goes fast and make me feel good. And those are the things where, hey, that is the type of phrase, nuances that your potential customers are going to give you that are gold nuggets. They don't really care about, how you say it. Maybe unless you're really good at demand generation and marketing and framing, your business, they don't care. Trust me. If you can get to these pain point nuances, this pain point piece is so crucial. You can use it for your LinkedIn posts, your TikTok, or even come out with videos and stuff like that, education, just to do demand generation marketing, okay? Learn about the competitive, similar offers and services, the channels, like I said, where do they live, right? Now you can actually go after, if you see a pattern, let's just say if you have 100 clients and 70% of the clients live on TikToks 100% of the time, instead of going after spending lots of money on marketing ads, sponsoring ads on LinkedIn or IG, just go into TikTok and vice versa, right? Again, these are really spending your money wisely. If you only have a little bit of budget, and where do you spend it to get the most bang of your bucks, just so that you get more customers. The channels and value proposition. Again, value prop is so crucial, right? Because if you can't tell the client the true value or benefit and how emotionally they make them feel at the end of the day, that value proposition statement, you fail. And how do we get there? It's by interviewing clients, interviewing paying clients over and over again, understanding the pain points, understanding buying habits and everything else. It is going to help. Again, someone earlier said in the chat here saying, I am not in business. I don't know anything about market research. I don't even know where to start. You think you don't know market research, but we all do market research during our conversation with friends, with with potential customers, with mentors and stuff like that. You just don't know it. Market research essentially is listening to and uncovering stuff just so that you can validate and define your idea, your product, and your service. And then the market segmentation, essentially, once you have all these things, we're going to put into charts and graphs into one slide, just so that you're very clear on what to do with next. Okay, I've been talking a long time. Why don't I just stop for a moment? I like to do a couple of things. I initially have an exercise. I want you to break into groups of 3. Okay, here's the exercise. I don't, let's forget about this here. I want to make it really quick and easy. I want you basically just in the groups, okay? Here's the exercise I want you to do. If you get into a group, I want you to pick a service or product or whatever you want to, to do to gather information for a product or a service or whatever. Either one of you is say, hey, you know what, here's my business. Let's just take that as an example. I want you to go back here and define what is the research objective. Just come up with anything. What do I want to research? I wanted to research target market pricing, whatever. Okay. And next thing, I want you to give me where would you go get this information and what research method you would use. Okay. Again, pick a service or solution or a business, an idea you have, doesn't matter, one. And the three of you are going to brainstorm, okay, great. Now, what do I want to find out? And, so pick something that you want to do research on. The next thing you are going to tell me what method and how would you go about and what questions would you ask? Give me one or two examples. And then once you have the findings, what are you going to do with it? With that information, how is it going to help you solve your objectives? Okay. Again, pick one solution, service, whatever. Define what research objective, how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, what questions you're going to ask, and then with the information, how is it going to help you solve? Okay, so 10 minutes. Right now it's 7:04. In about 8:04, let's just come back. And I'm going to pick and choose anybody. Just maybe share your thoughts and then just uncover some of the things that we just kind of gone through. Okay, see you soon.
Sorry, Dexter, just to clarify, how many people do you want in one breakout room?
Give it a minute for everybody to come back. Anybody, this is a little bit more of a qualitative conversation. If you guys want to turn on your camera, feel free so. We're just going to chit chat for a few minutes, and then we're going to just going to wrap up a few more slides. Anybody else? Nikki, Maria, I see faces. Amazing. Is it Slavomir?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right.
And like you see, I'm in the kitchen making.
That's okay. That's okay. My I mean, my kids are making dinner as well. All good. This is the life we're in, right?
Exactly.
Joyce, how's it going? Thanks for showing.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do a couple of things, right? Just random. Okay. So maybe want to do some regroup. And so can somebody tell me in your group what was the objectives? Alina, can you say hi? Okay. Can you hear me, Alina? Okay. Yeah, I think can everybody give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good. Okay, speaker is good. So let's see here. The objective, what causes people to hesitate buying an EV? Okay, let's just start with that. It's Shanze, yeah? Okay, thank you. Yep, I love this just typing. This is another way of doing focus group. A lot of people just doing text analytics, right? Sometimes people don't speak, depending on what it is. Okay, so no. So Sanjay, yours is the objectives is what causes people to hesitate buying an EV. So that's your objective. Okay. So what do you want to find out, right? And what do you do? What kind of research method would you trying to define, and what are you trying to define? Maybe a group. So this is for Shanze. So for the objective, what causes people to, to hesitate and buy an EV? So what's, anybody? Where's Sanjay? Okay. Okay, anybody else? Does anybody want to share what your group did, or, anybody? Okay, market research survey, Sanjay, perfect. You're going to do a surveys doing quantitative surveys. Okay, do you know what you're going to ask? Do you know what you're going to ask? What would you ask for your objectives? Give me an example of a question. It's a very quiet group. Okay, if you had the opportunity to buy EV, what would make you hesitate? Yeah, of course. So this is more of a open-ended, so really it's just like, give it to me, just give it to me. So really it's just, sometime your market research, you have to do a few iteration, because maybe your first set of questions are too high level. And then once you have that conversation with a people that gives you answer, the one that didn't answer, you just kind of remove it. So now you kind of focus on a smaller group. And then at what price point in parity with regular cars would you buy? Yeah, okay. Sometimes that also really good, right? So you will probably show, thanks Shahab. I think you should also consider sometime, not so much of give me an option ID, the general idea rather. Okay, yeah, okay. Basically, sometimes you don't want open-ended, because open-ended, if you're doing surveys, if you're having an open-ended, try to leave open-ended as minimal as possible and give them a little bit more options. So you have to do a little bit of research. Price point, would you pay this, right? Then you can qualify if these people, they can easier to answer. If they kind of give you one answer, you're like, okay, is that good or is that bad? Is that too high? Would you pay more? Would you pay less? Right? So if you give like, a different price point, something too high, something too low, or whatever, and then, based on, your competitors, then it actually gives you a say, okay, cool, this person will pay this much, this is too low, that is too high, and that is it, okay? And then also identify 3 key reasons to start if there are regular costs, range of anxiety, charging infrastructure. Those are really, really cool, Sanjay. I don't know what your team did. Those are really, really good conversation there. Okay, with this information here, do you think you need to do more surveys? What would you do next? Sanjay, Shahab, what would you guys do next? Just trying to figure out. You guys can speak. You guys can turn on the, we need more information. Absolutely. So think about it, right? So anyhow, let me just wrap up a couple of things here, right? Like I said, I want you to basically give you tools to really, and the type of questions that you're gonna ask, why you want to ask, so for example, to actually figure out. So I'll give you another example. So Tomo, is Tomo here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, so Tomo and I were in a group. So Tomo's idea is a mental health app. Really, and I basically say, okay, what do you want to find out? What's the objectives? She wants to find out, people with mental health, what is the preferred method of getting help, right? So I asked her, okay, so what do you want to find out? And what questions would you ask? She said, I don't know, because right now, all I know is I want to find out, do they go to a therapist? Do they go to a counselor? Do they go to volunteer? Do they go to physicians and peer group? Instead of just asking them, say, what do you want? How do you want to get counseling or help? Instead of asking a very broad question like that, you define all these options for them to select. The ones that you get the most and define and easy for you to find, help with, you can get those people to come back and ask them more questions. So I say, great, that's the first question. Second question you ask them is say, you know what? How often do you access a therapist, counseling, volunteer, and so forth? And then, how long are these sessions? And then she basically asks these questions and she defines. And then basically, what she actually also saying, I think also pricing and, how do they access it today? So all this information, she basically said, will help her build a mock-up of the app, the user experience, what she needs to tie into it, and really just a minimum viable product. She didn't have that before. She basically just came to me as like, I have an idea to build a mental health app because it's something that she's very passionate about, and she knows that there is a market for it. There's a lot of people that need help. The people just, sometimes people with mental health cannot access or do not go out. They are much more comfortable at their home on their device and just need help. So she has a problem that she's solving, but she just didn't know how to get some things started. So right now she just needs the idea and do a mock-up to really just validate all these things. And if she builds an app, what would the app be and what should be in it and who's going to serve and what kind of, is it knowledge base, is it peer group? Then she could go out and find out resource people that is quickly identifiable, easily activated on the platform, and then now market it to people that needs help, that there's a health app that has people ready to help when they want it, how they want it, what are the costs. You see how we just started from, I don't know what I just have an idea. Okay, cool. We just ask questions and go out and validate. Though it's something simple, just don't do everything at once. Do you guys have any questions for me? So should we be focusing, the question is from Shanze, so should we be always focusing on tackling what we offer as options instead of being too broad and letting them answer freely? Absolutely. Because you should always have one free form comment at the end. Free form comments are mostly used, just so that it's people to blab. The free form should be more on the qualitative, because once you identify the people, your target market that you can actually go out and sell to get people to use your product, to buy your product, right? You should do your qualitative, your quantitative, your surveys first, and validate and make sure that everything is there. Then as you're as close as building it or getting it ready, you want to get these people to identify who's going to pay for it, right? Your target market, not your serviceable, maybe serviceable, but get them into a focus group, get them to turn on the video, because I get to see, then you can ask open-ended questions. But your survey should have very clear and concise, just so that you should already know what you want to confirm your idea, your concept, your everything. You should have one or two very close and one or two very far off, because the answers that people are going to give you, the data that's going to come in, will tell you, are you on the right track or you're completely off track. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah, so and then in the focus groups, that's where you have everybody turn on the camera or sit down in the cafe or bring them into somewhere and just have a chit chat. Really, it's just the emotion, the body language, the free form, and make sure you record these sessions and you can reference back. that's where you can validate a little bit more and asking more and saying, you know what, tell me, okay, if I'm going to show you something, you know, what do you think? Because these are the people are ready to buy, and people are ready to use, and people that you have confirmed, you know, get there. Okay, so you're basically going to find out using these surveys, you're finding out addressable target market. What are these personas? You can ask them through surveys, doing focus groups to find out a little bit more validation, etc. Okay, all right, let me just move on. I want to leave some time for questions for you guys. So we have done basic startup ideation stage. If you have an idea, if you're building a product or service, you're getting somewhere, you're taking the first step, you're basically registering for a business. Fantastic. Congratulations to everybody. You know, I'm hoping that what we have done is a very basic market research of why do you need it? What is it? How is it done? What kind of questions to ask and how to use it, and what kind of methods to get to. Again, what we're trying to do is to get you to different stages. So let me just show my screen again. So market research, from concept stage, you got to do market research. And then, you know, in all these different stages here, right? As you scale, as you launch, if you're doing your minimum viable product, you need to do all these market segmentation, price analysis, competitive analysis, voice of customers. You know what? I do research, and, you know, big businesses do research on a monthly, daily, quarterly basis. Doesn't matter if they're in the business for a year. Doesn't matter if they've been in business for 150 years. All these big brands are continuously trying to refine the best product, where to launch it, how to market it, you know, how to get more market, how to dominate, and, you know, really, or how to really just do, you know, get your business off the ground so that it's sustainable, making sure that you are, you know, getting there so that your business achieve, you know, much more effectiveness, to be more successful, to be faster. So having said, if you have done your research, all the tools that I'm providing you, you should be now using, you know, you can use survey. People are like, hey, you know what do I use? Google Surveys is free. SurveyMonkey is another one that is free. SurveyMonkey is very cool because the free ones, if you sign up for a free account, they are a competitor of mine. It's good for consumer. They even have templates. They even have templates for if I want to validate a product, they actually have 10 questions that you don't even have to design. You just take that and do it. You want to validate pricing, they also have that. If you want to do customer satisfaction, you can also just get the template, just say copy and paste, launch it, put in a whole bunch of email address and send it out, and it gives you the data, and you can slice and dice. Okay. The other one is Typeform, same thing, but, you know, there's might be a freemium and stuff like that. But these are survey tools that are out there. There's free that you can use today, and either free or very low cost. Now, yeah. Now, having said that, everything that I've done here is giving you tools just so that you can, over time, have any tools to get access to legit emails. Okay, yes, good question. So Nikki is asking me, Nikki, just confirm. You're saying it's like, okay, so if I don't have 100 emails, I don't have 500 emails, where can I get it? So SurveyMonkey actually on the back end has what we call it a survey audience that has given their permission to basically as a paid service. Okay, so basically you can incentivize people to participate in your survey, and you basically just got to pay for it, you know, per respondent. It could be anywhere from $1 to $5 or whatever that looks like, you know, per respondent. But that service you can actually, you need this first. You need to put in a persona template, Nikki. You need to have a basic concept of age, demographic, geographic, psychographic, and all these things. Because in the SurveyMonkey tool, you can actually select, I want to interview survey people in Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Ottawa, okay? I want somebody between the age of 35 and 44. I want somebody who drinks, kombucha, or purchased kombucha before, and also, or like Tomo. I want somebody with, with a mental health or whatever, and I want who actually access TikTok. Okay, you can actually make a selection. Then they will match how many people they have, and you can basically select. You can buy the incentivize a package for one person, 10, 500, 1,000, 10,000, and you basically incentivize them. Okay, so essentially that's the business I do. I basically automate that process. I have a software that actually just data warehouse. So yeah, so you can use SurveyMonkey, use the audience and make a selection, but you just gotta pay. If you have a little bit of budget, and you want to get there faster, direct your persona, but you gotta have this first. You got to do this by doing, go out to social media, go out to your friends, and basically find out what is your ideal customer persona. Once you have that, you can use that service. Does that work, Nikki? Okay, no problem. You're welcome. Okay, once you also done your market research in the early stage, other than the persona template, I got it from HubSpot, or you can basically just you could just Google persona template. You can get a lot, and you can basically plug it in. Once you plug it in this way, now, why do I do this? Because I'll tell you later. You need to next is really do a little bit of competitive analysis. I'm not going to get into it because you probably have another session. A competitive analysis is which is your competitors, right? Why do you conduct a competitive analysis? Because you need to, what is the unique selling point? Why are you different, right? Nikki, what's your idea or your business idea again? I'm just picking on you.
I'm just going to unmute because it's easier.
Thank you.
Yes. So it's actually, as I said, a spin-off of a co-working space that I own.
Oh.
So it's sort of, but it's a little bit different, as in it's matching, I would say, space operators to end users. So essentially underutilized spaces in the city to those professionals who need them.
Fantastic.
But not in a traditional co-working format, basically.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So you're very clear because you probably had done a little bit of research. You probably have your customer personas and what your addressable and target market. You've done that, which is why you know that, right? And then you probably have seen or talked to people that say, yeah, I really need that. There's nothing out there, right? So that's where your competitive analysis is done. And then that's where you just define the untapped opportunities. Yeah. Fantastic.
So one of my struggles is that I'm trying to figure out whether I niche in a market or keep it a little bit more general. And so that's the question I want to validate as far as the need of which market actually needs this service the most, or do I keep it open?
Yeah. And then literally you just answered my third one. What should you focus on, right?
Yeah.
And that's a very important thing because, well, a couple of things. Depending on when is this a side hustle? Again, budget and everything else, co-working space, it means you need real estate and stuff like that, or maybe not, or whatever, if you have whatever method. And basically, with that, you can actually define how your, you basically can put into something called a SWOT analysis. Basically, based on this information, what is your strength, right? What is the weaknesses? What is the opportunity and what is the threat? You can actually just put it into a SWOT analysis and basically put down, okay, cool. What is this co-working space, needs, strength? What is it, what is it so different from, let's just say WeWork or whatever, or Whitespace or whatever you want to call it, right? And then, where are the opportunities? What are the goals? What are the demand? And, how can I improve it? And then based on this, you can also, you need to be, true to yourself and say, if I do this, I may not be able to, like you said, if I go niche, I may not be able to address a bigger market. So now, is it cost? Is it, will people pay a premium? Is it sustainable? Or is it just a short-term, I guess, addressable problem? That's the way it is. And then also take a look at some of the threads, right? And if you do this, will the big guys, your competitors, can they take this concept and just spin it around much quicker? And basically you just, by in a year, that business is out of service. So a lot of things to SWOT analysis is really just keeping it real. And you need to, again, you don't have to have a clearly defined, just put something, what I call it is SDF, your shooting first draft. You got to put something there, and you can refine it every 6 months, and you should do for your personas, your SWOT and your business canvas, you've got to do it every 6 months over time. Hopefully that helps. Once you have these two templates created, right? I need you to actually now put it into what I call a business model. If you don't have this, please be clear on it. This will save your life. This can refine every single thing. You can be much clearer about your business, your ideas, your costs, what needs to get done. The market research that we did today. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a question in the chat, and I think it'll be important to answer it now. Can this be geared to specific industry, not a person?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So the customer persona, right? Yes. Solar. So yes, absolutely. So for me, I don't have, when I do a customer persona, I don't do actual human being. I basically, mine will be, I'll give you an example. So I do a software to B2B. My customer persona is it a 1 to 5 person company size? So company size, company revenue, how many years they've been here, and so basically those are the things, and what region. I actually, in the beginning, I'm selling everywhere. My sales cycle is long, and I'm selling to smaller companies, medium-sized companies, enterprise. But over time, I basically go after taking a look at clients I lost. Every client that I lose for my software company, I actually get my team to actually just interview the client. What did I do bad? What did I do? And really all the challenges. And I want to document that and share with the team. And then basically it says, you know what, if I have a reoccurring theme, that means that client is not my customer. Don't chase after it. The ones that I can activate and stay with me for 1 year, 2 years, and how long onboarding and activation and how much would they pay, I now define my company now is going after clients that are making $5 million to $100 million revenue. The company size is 2 groups. Okay, you're not just one group. You gotta have 2 groups. Mine is and 10 to 30, and then the other one is 70 to 120. So I know the company size. So with that information, I can actually go out on the internet and actually do a Google search on market research agencies that has these kind of revenue, these kind of that has using software and do this type of recruitment work that fits my software and has these company size. And then now I message them. I go on sponsor LinkedIn ads. I do cold call emails, and I write up content and demand gen to target them. And I also make a selection, and I paid sponsor ads to say market research. Here's the revenue. Here's the company size, and only in the US. I can turn around a sales cycle in about 7 weeks. If I sell it in EU4, it will take me about maybe 3 to 6 months, and actually 6 to 8 months. You see the effort now, right? So it took me some time, but it's all the research, qualitative and quantitative. Does that help? Fantastic. Once you have that information, like I just said here, then you can put into Market Research 101. You can actually put in this customer segment. Who are your customers? Create a few different personas. Like I said, like I just gave you 2. And visualize who are the people and where they would turn to for your solution. Again, where do they live? Is it LinkedIn, for my B2B? Or if my my photography is Facebook and Instagram. And customer relationship. How do you keep them? How do you grow them? And how do you find this customer? Then how do you support them? And how do you get the customers to spend more and repeat customers? And with this information here, then you can actually see how many people you need to hire. Can you do it alone, or do you need to hire a team? Do you need to hire somebody here locally, or can you get somebody else from really far? What is your budget to hire resource to help you actually just keep the company alive and give good customer service? Now, remember, I asked you to just give me all the context and stuff like this. And the reason why this chat here is literally more of a quantitative and qualitative, because I actually speak to it. And the reason why I asked you, since at the beginning of the shop, I can actually just kind of tie to exactly what we do, right? I understand who you are. I can talk to who you exactly what you want, and now and everything else. Unique value proposition is very crucial. All the surveys and research that you compile since today after this class, please make a note, put in your notepad, put it into an Excel sheet. Anybody that you have a conversation with, or even a recording, anytime that they say, you know what, they give you a permission to record a conversation, record it. Because you can actually reference back one day and say, what did they say? How did they say it? And that is where you're going to put the unique value proposition. And that's where they will tell you how you are new, how you are high performance, what do you sets you apart, what price they will pay, and is it convenience and everything else, and what is your USP? Okay. Once you have all this information with the feedback, the voice of the customer, nuances, and everything else, your persona, you can now go market. You can use whatever you need to and plug in your channels. How do you communicate virtually to your ideal customers to actually just find them, get them to pay you, get them to work with you, get them to have that first demo, and then you really have that business idea. And all these other things is just running your business. I'm not going to touch on it, but I actually have a different course and workshops on business canvas model and resources and stuff. Anyhow, so like I said, let me just close this up. Once you have identified who's it for, it's really like magic. You can really shift into spending time developing your service and product in the right development cycle, allocating a budget for the right places, right? If you have, like, say, Markham, small business or Y Space, if you get a grant from them, and if you have only a few $1,000s, how are you going to spend it? Don't spend it on swag. Don't put on sweatshirts or coffee mugs and stuff like that, but put in a market research, okay? And then you can tell the story and where to tell it, right? So begin with the smallest viable market. Don't go with the total addressable market. Don't go with the serviceable. Just go with the 5 people, the 10 people, the 50 people that are actually going to dish out their wallet, and then assess your outcome, and then rinse and repeat. So thank you very much. I'm opening up for questions, anything you want. I'm not sure, do we have any other questions? But a little bit about me. I work in corporate world for 15 years. I have multiple field businesses. That my photography business, I have a couple of startups. I also had a startup that I got acquired and exited in 2019 that I helped. So I live and breathe market research for the last 10 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dexter. This was amazing. Thank you for sharing all your resources with us. Guys, we're going to open the floor for question answers. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away, or if you prefer typing in the chat, please do that. Whatever works.
Whatever works. I know some people got to run to like eat dinner and cook dinner and stuff. This is the time. You know what? My LinkedIn is Dexter Chu Toronto. You can look me up. You can connect. If you have any questions after this, feel free to DM me. But do you guys have any other questions? I can take a couple of questions. Confirm, validate.
Yeah, I think all the information that you gave was so great that they're all mulling over it. It's a lot to think about, so I'm sure. But guys, this is your chance. If you have questions, please ask. I've dropped a feedback form here in the group, so take out the time to share your feedback with us. Thank you, Penny. Thank you for being here. Right, and
Perfect.
give
That's
it a
it.
minute to see if I don't think there are any questions. Before I let you guys go, I'm quickly going to share my screen. I do want to share what's in store for you guys and what other programs we're offering. So just give me one brief minute. I hope you're able to see my screen now. Great. For next week, next Tuesday, for Founder Fundamentals, we have a session on legal basics for entrepreneurs. It's again a very great session that will provide you an understanding on the different business structures and how and when to incorporate your business. What are some of the contracts and agreements you need to be aware of? And it basically provides an understanding of intellectual property laws. Other than that, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, applications are open for our Venture Catalyst program as well. This is for early stage tech ventures. So if you have a business idea and you want to build it up to a minimal viable product, this program will provide you with mentorship and guidance. And applications are open till next week, 5th of February. So please, if you are interested, do apply for that. Let me see if you have any questions. Dexter, I think we're all good with questions. So once again, thank you so much, Dexter, on behalf of Markham Small Business Center and Y-Space. I thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your resources, your valuable information. I'm sure everybody found it extremely, extremely beneficial. I really, really appreciate your time and effort that you put into this presentation. To our wonderful attendees, thank you so much for joining us today, for your questions, conversations, and all the engagement. And I hope to see you again next Tuesday. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Dexter, once again.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good evening.
you.
Bye now.
Good evening, everyone. Nikki, I'm just going to send you the link again.